Welcome to episode 69 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Crimson Warlock.
Insert bike horn sound here.
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians!
And Sharks.
Let's get racing!
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you all for listening to the podcast, however it is that you're choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G1NET. You can also take a look at the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you do a search on bungie.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, of which we'll also use for both comments and feedback. Once again, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can search Guardian 1 for the iTunes podcast, as well as go into the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out their website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all of the different podcasts that's part of the network, including Aim Assist Gaming, TTL Party Chat, Robust Radio, Ghost and Echoes, as well as the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. Guardian Radio broadcasts every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. That's all I have for now. Moving on.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, Hollow River. Okay, lots to talk about, but I really want to get right to what for me is the heart of the matter, and was the heart of the matter for them at PSX. I never ever would have guessed that what they were talking about was sparrow racing. And this is something that I have talked about for so long, and I wish that I had the endurance to listen to myself blather on and on about Destiny to the point to where I could have gone back to some of those other older podcasts and hear myself talk about it like I wanted to bring it up and play a clip of what I wanted it to be like. But I'm 100% positive that I mentioned that I wanted it to be in a setting where there was enemies shooting at us. I thought that this was a compelling way to present a sparrow race. And so there's just really a ton that goes into this sparrow racing. And really it seems to be a pretty polarizing thing. Some people are, like myself, are insanely excited about it. Some people, like many of the people, Bell Bunny put out a question on Twitter like, hey, what do you guys think about sparrow racing? And it was unanimously, people were very upset that it wasn't new content like this. being in my shoes, where I still haven't run the raid. I'm not running the challenges, but I do still have time to jump into Destiny. This is an amazing Iron Banner-like event for me because as cool as it is and as awesome as it would be to jump in with 6 of my friends to do this, to coordinate and have that fun, I can just jump in by myself and I can just enjoy it. Like, I got 15 minutes. I can just jump in. I don't have to say, hey, Agrios, hey, Crimson, Jez, Sharks, you guys want to get together for, one race for me or 2 races for me? I can
Although
just,
that would be cool if you did that.
no, it would be cool, but I just don't want to be. I just don't want to put out. I just want to put that out there like that. So I just want to. I want to set the ground floor for everybody listening, so that nobody is stuck talking for longer than me, because I can't do that. I just want to go right down the line. So I will start with Crimson Warlock. When this was announced, were you excited? Yes or no?
Um, Honestly, was really out of the loop due to a lot of family events going on. So I didn't even know it was announced until like basically Monday, and I was like, "Oh, this is something new." Yeah, excited for it though, and I am loving it. I love sparrow racing. It's
Okay, we're not
super
there yet.
fun.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Jez, when this was announced, were you excited about it?
Probably not, because I knew it was going to be just an event thing. I wasn't as excited as some people were, but I wasn't as non-thrilled with it that other people were.
Okay, you weren't hitting up Twitter hating on Bungie like, oh, where's my
No.
next raid? Okay,
Wait, that was
Agrios,
it?
Agrios, when you heard, were you excited about it?
Yeah, I was definitely excited about it. I mean, one of the things I often bring up whenever I'm referring to Fun Hat and Destiny, created by the community, is the racing to get multiple versions of the chests during House of Wolves, and I mean that was a blast. And like you said, we've been talking about sparrow racing since before we knew what sparrows were,
Right, the beginning of
and
time, basically.
yeah, like back when, like Guardian Radio pointed out, like we were discussing this sparrow races and such back when we still thought they were called shrikes, and that the sparrow was some unique type of a shrike.
Right.
So
Good.
yeah, I was definitely excited to hear this. Now I
Wait, wait, wait,
like
wait,
kind of
wait, 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 wait,
said,
wait. All right,
okay.
Sharks. When this was announced, were you excited about it?
There was a flip side to
Uh,
my excitement, is what I was going to say. Though,
Oh, okay.
like
okay.
when that
Go
was
on.
the only thing announced, that was the flip side. That was the downside to its announcement, was it was the only thing.
Got it. Got it. Sharks.
Okay, so like everybody in the community, I sat through all weekend long, listened to every single announcement that they had. And when they announced Bungie, they go, oh, they started to talk it up, and it was a 35-second video. So at that point, I was like, that's it? Really? But um, after that initial shock of that's all that they're going to announce here, hell yeah, I was excited. Free content and something new. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Awesome. That is good to hear. Okay, so 3 yeses and 1 not really. Okay, so now okay, just really quickly, you guys have all played it correctly. Has anybody not played it? Okay, good. Um okay, so my next question is, are you enjoying it? Like, is this overall, don't get into any specifics, because I want each of you to have a chance to explain, but just really overall, have you thought it was really fun and really awesome, Crimson Warlock?
I'm really enjoying it.
Jez.
I think I've hit the limit of my enjoyment.
And what does that look like? Like have you raced like 500 races, or?
It's probably somewhere around the 80% good rating.
Okay. So I'll put you down as a yes, you enjoyed it. Agrios?
I'm going to give it a mostly, like a very high end mostly. It should have launched with more maps.
Yeah, you know what? I want to talk about that. 3 weeks with 2 maps seems really crazy. They might be releasing more, or
Well, I'm
they
calling a new
should
map
be
each week.
releasing more. What's that?
I'm calling a new map each week at least. That's what I'm calling. I'm hoping next week there'll be a new map added to the rotation. The week
Not
after that.
based off of what Deej said at the show.
Um, Sharks.
If it's a yes/no answer, yes.
Okay. I just I'm just writing down notes so that I can go back to it and I'm not asking you the same stupid questions over and over. I just have to ask the stupid question once and then we can move on. Okay, so Crimson Warlock, did you buy the book?
Yep, I did.
Jez, did you buy the book?
Kind of sadly, yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. Agrios, did you buy the book?
Not yet.
No. Sharks, did you buy the book?
No.
Oh, for real? That's crazy. I did not see that coming. Okay, so this.
Did Remy buy the book?
What's that?
Did Remy buy the book?
Remy did buy the book, and so let's talk about that. I'm really happy that I bought the book. I'm not happy with the amount of content in the book. It seems like in the first couple of races, I had quite a bit of the book marked off, and that made me sad. But overall, when I think about this Sparrow racing, I think I have to support Bungie in this because I want them to continue to produce this kind of content. I want there to be more Sparrow races. I want there to be another season. And so for anyone listening out there who has not bought the book yet, when you do buy the book, if you've already been racing all of those races and everything will already be in your book. So like Sharks, everything that you've already raced, uh, if you end up buying the book over the course of this next 2 weeks, you will be able to. It'll just automatically show up all of
Yep.
your
That's
stats.
part of the reason why I haven't bought it. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to or not.
Additionally, you do not need to change the book between your characters in order for each of your characters' races to matter, which I think is really cool. It's I mean, it is cool to have it on the character you're using to race it with, so that you can track what you're trying to get at. But when you've reached a certain limit, and that limit is reached pretty quickly, it's like all you have left are like wins on each planet. So let's see. Crimson Warlock. You know what? I want to go to Jez. Jez, you said sadly yes. Why do you say this?
Well, there's two reasons. The first reason is the gear that comes from it does not take shaders.
Oh, really? Oh, wait a second. But that's like a specific set though, right? That's
Yeah,
the color scheme. Okay.
Yeah, it's the color scheme with the lights and stuff.
Okay.
And the other reason is after I found out about the lights, I had already deleted one part and you can't get that back yet.
Oh, you mean the piece of gear that you unlocked from it you didn't like, and so you deleted it, but then you
Yeah.
realized that it had something that was cool about it, and so now you're sad because you can't get it back?
Yeah, considering like all the drop gear, all the purple drop gear actually takes shaders.
So,
You know,
something about that, guys, is you should be able to go pick up the book on a new character and get that drop again.
You got to buy the book again, don't you?
No, you buy it
No.
once, you can pick it up with all three characters.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
So you spend $10 and you can get 3 sets of gear, basically.
So
Well, you more than that, couldn't you? You delete a character and create a new character and get another book and then hand the gear over to another character, so you could just have a ton of the gear if you wanted, right?
who's got the vault space for that?
You're right.
I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying in theory.
You know, that kind of leads to a possible exploit of doing that just for the helmet and then
Oh,
getting
yeah.
the marks and then deleting that character.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
That's interesting.
That it would be totally exploitable. So I linked a picture of this armor in action in the chat for anybody who's unaware of what it does when you equip a full set and such.
All right, I will put that up on the screen right now. Crimson Warlock, were you happy that you bought the book?
I am, just because I feel like it's going to give me a reason to really keep on pushing to try and get the 10 wins on each planet to complete the book. I'm kind of going through a dry spell of wins right now, which is frustrating, but it's still fun.
Okay. So when I first bought the book, like I bought it straight out on both systems. I really really wanted Bungie to know that they had me in their corner for this. I don't necessarily like a lot of the things that are going into it, and there's some people online that make some good points about, this is not what they were looking for. But for me, I want them to know that I am happy with my purchase.
Now,
Uh,
there's two ways you can support Bungie in this. There's definitely two different ways to support how you feel about this, I think. Well, since you're bringing up the support issue, and that's part of the reason you made the purchase. I feel like just by playing, by participating, they track those numbers. They see how many people have been, not logging in playing Fallout that are now logging in and playing the Sparrow Racing. So that's one level of response. By playing it, it's likely to return. By buying the book, though, you're also supporting the microtransaction option. If
totally.
you don't like the microtransaction option but do like Sparrow Racing, I say you should play it a whole bunch. Don't buy the book intentionally, because then that's sending the signal that you'd rather have this bundled with a larger DLC and wait longer periods between said DLCs.
Okay, this is definitely something that I wanted to put out over the internet airwaves, because yes, if you if you enjoy Sparrow Racing, then play the hell out of Sparrow Racing. If you do not want to support these microtransactions, then don't do it. Speak with your money. Um, Personally, I kind of feel like this is going to be a cool little bauble in my collection. 3 years down the road, I still have this book from these races. It's something that I think would be really cool. Oh, here's that armor. So there appears to be these little dots. So it's like you're a plane or some kind of some kind of vehicle, um, which I think is cool. I didn't realize that it had that. I was actually disappointed in the way the armor looked until I found out that there was blinking lights on it. I think that looks really cool. I don't know who chose this color scheme. I'm not a big fan of this color scheme, and I recognize that not everything can just be black on black. Although that is the color scheme that I would choose, or maybe some kind of blue on black. Um, I don't know. I get it, and and I'm happy that I haven't deleted any of those pieces. Jez, please let us know if and you can pull up that book, and then, I mean, if you're interested in going through all that. So you said yet. You said that you're not able to re-get it yet. Do you know something, or are you just hoping that they will come up with a way for you to pull this back?
Well, I've heard somewhere that it was intentional that they were
Yes.
supposed to let you get the things multiple times if you needed them, but it's not apparent on the current system.
Is it true that these pieces of gear you can pass to other characters, like it's Warlock, Titan, and Hunter friendly?
All except for the helm and uh, the class
Class
item,
item?
but
Yeah.
that's the same for all the drops in this mode.
Right.
That is so awesome.
You know what sucks about it though?
What?
That's why they don't have light, so you can't wear these wherever you want.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I'll tell you what, though, I'm really excited about the fact that I will have I don't have to create that much room in my vault, because initially, uh, I
Not for all
slept.
the horns.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm writing down horns right now because I'm gonna give that guy a high five to the forehead. Whoever came up with that idea. Um, so initially, when I slept through the announcement. I'm usually really on top of it. But my baby was asleep, and it was like it's time to take a nap, and so I came to the internet, and people were talking about Sparrow Racing, and I just flew through the roof like a rocket, super excited. And then I came back down to earth, realizing that I had to make room in my vault, and I feel like I'll be able to do it. I feel like there's been enough time in between when I spent so much time getting these pieces of gear, and now, and in addition, I feel like there's been enough, like, I've been taking pictures and small videos of all these things that I've got. So I have a little memento. Like there will be a point in time when I'll go through the gigabytes and gigabytes of information that I have. At some point, maybe in a couple of years, I will go through and be like, oh, I remember that I had that, so I'm going to keep all the stuff that's really important to me. And but now because these pieces of gear are transferable, I only really need to make one suit. It's not a suit for every single person. And I'm so getting all of the Solariat. The Solariat is my favorite outfit so far. It's way stormtrooper looking. I think I'm gonna rock that a lot. um, let's see. Okay, let's just go to the horn because the horn was crazy. What a rotten idea this horn was. And by rotten, I mean totally usable by the community to annoy other players. And sadly, Derek Carroll tweeted out that that's actually its purpose. Like he tweeted out that there's horns that you can annoy your race mates with, and I think
Yep.
that that's horrible. I think that's horrible. And now I, the amount of dislike I had for it before I started racing has subsided because as I've raced, I found that not too many people are really laying on that. I feel like they're really having to focus a lot more on the races.
I
Yeah,
find
most of the
people
races
use
most
it.
hubs are occupied.
I find people use it when they're going through the tunnels, like anybody in a car would.
um, but okay, so the book, I feel like the way they should be separating the community in this manner, it's close but no cigar. So in Halo Reach, there was an option to buy something called Bungie Pro. And so what it was is in Halo Reach, you were able to make video clips out of saved games, or you could go into a game that you've already played and detach the camera from your character and float around and watch the game from any vantage point whatsoever. You could freeze it, you could rewind it, you could take pictures and send those pictures to bungie.net. And I think that you had a total of 6 slots if you did not buy Bungie Pro. If you did buy Bungie Pro, you got 24 slots. And I purchased that because specifically me, I wanted to have more room to save more clips or more photos, and that was important to me. I feel like by not giving everybody a book, they've failed to capture on bringing people in a manner that I think is really important. So, like, let's say that somebody out there, they enjoyed the racing, they enjoyed the sparrow racing, and they didn't plan on going back to it. They go about their way, Fallout 4 or whatever. They go back into Destiny, and they see that they have this book, and they see, oh man, here's my fastest time. My buddy was saying that he had this fastest time. By having some kind of reminder there, by having something to draw them back in other than the mechanics and the fun that is associated with Sparrow Racing League, by having this way of checking what they've done, they've failed to capitalize on people wanting to come back for that. I feel
I think you've hit the nail on the head with their reasoning for why it is the way it is, though. And I think it's to capitalize on the pocketbook. They're using the community interaction to get more people to purchase this book. Because it's already happened to me. I've already been, I got in a chat party with someone and we're talking about the racing and they're like, oh, what's your stat on this? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't buy the book. So people are out there getting, I don't want to say peer pressure because that's the wrong word, but it's along those lines. As far as that community interaction, I think that's designed that way to get incentive to buy this book.
Absolutely. And actually that specific community interaction, they could have called Destiny community interaction and it would have been at least as accurate as the name Destiny, just because Exactly, Mystic Rose, peer envy. You know, when you see somebody else riding up on a special sparrow, or that person's got the Mythoclast, I still don't have the Mythoclast on either system. There's this draw to go and do those same activities, and so I agree with what you're saying there. But I feel like I mean, okay, so like Fallout 4, for instance, you've told me, Agrios, about many of the things that you've done in Fallout 4 because I can't go there and see it. I am so less inclined to really care about specific things. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I do want one of those synthetic people looking protector robots. I think that would be really cool to as a companion. But because I don't see you walking around with one, I'm not compelled to do it. And so I feel like if they had given everybody the option to just save there, I mean, I think it comes down to just needing a different carrot, you know, like by not giving people, by not giving everybody their stats. I, I think what I'm trying to say is the stats aren't a big deal. The stats aren't what caused me to buy that $10 of thing. I feel like what they should have capitalized on was this is the Racing Book Pro. This is for somebody who wants to turn to their friends and say, I am a pro here. Like this is I've chosen to main in Sparrow Racing League. Like this is something that like look at I'm badass. I don't care if you are. What is your time? It doesn't matter what your time is. I'm a pro here. Like I feel like if they had capitalized more on the people who want to spend the money versus the people who have to spend the money to see what their times are, I feel like this would have gotten a lot better of a reception. Um, but yeah, that community interaction is all it's laced throughout Destiny. It's the whole driving thing. Um, and I'm surprised that it's not in more. I'm surprised it's not in more games. Like it might be a little bit out of some developers' reach. I feel like Bungie has really capitalized on this, and this goes back to at least Halo Reach in the fact that I'm sorry, I just saw my dad jump up on Skype, and so I thought it would be cool to add him, but who knows what he's doing? He's skyping somebody else. Um, there was a set of arms that if you unlocked far enough down the skill chain of those arms was a robot arm, and this robot arm was coveted. Everybody wanted this robot arm. And so I feel like that's where it began. Like they started realizing, oh, you know, if we just had all of these people you know, this is what you can get. That's why they had that one helmet that was like translucent and you could see there was a skull on the inside. That was pretty cool too. Okay, so I would just like to open it up now that I've got the base, what everybody's done and how they feel about it. So why don't we start with Crimson Warlock? This is your opportunity to just say it like it is. How is it that you feel about Sparrow Racing? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like the book? Do you not like the book? Do you like the Sparrows? Whatever you want to say, and then we'll just move on down the chain.
Um, let's see. My thoughts about Sparrow Racing so far. It's a great event. However, I'm starting to feel a lot more negatives that I really dislike about it. First off, it seems like um, to me that the sparrows and your bodies need to be a lot more solid in the world. I hate just like clipping straight through someone's sparrow or them clipping through me, and it totally knocks me off my path. Whereas if we were bumping together, I feel like it'd be a lot better. Mars needs to lose the fans because those things clip like crazy, and that's annoying when it happens. Um, but all in all, it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. Most of my negatives, I wish the Sparrow controls were maybe a little bit tighter and you didn't drift as bad.
Do you feel that that's a an artifact to the boost gates, or do you feel like the sparrows actively are different in SRL?
They are different. I definitely feel like they're a lot different than out in the world, the planets that you can use them. But it's still, I mean, you feel like you take a bad move and you fly off the course. It feels like, and your dodges are great, but you've only got so many of those.
Those
And
dodges
I
are
know
great.
that's definitely part of the strategy, but I hate riding on top of someone forever, and then they make a move, and then it like flips you up, and you die, and you're just like, I shouldn't have died there. Shouldn't have died there. Also, I feel like Venus has a lot of invisible terrain, and it's really frustrating when you clip on some of that, and you're like, why did I just stop? There's nothing in front of me. So those are, I guess, my main points of what I dislike. But all in all, it's a really fun event. I'm glad it's here. I hope it returns with new maps and new things to do. I hope it's not, the book's just version two with more maps to do. I hope that there's new things as part of the book or as part of the bounties. Just make sure that they switch it up and keep it real every time they do it.
What is your rank with Holiday?
I'm halfway to 2 right now.
Okay. Jez, just everything you got, whatever you got, you love it, you hate it, anything.
Well, no, that's not my thoughts. No, it's a
Just a
lot of
crybaby.
a lot of issues with clipping with people. I'd much rather if like you passed right through people because I find people behind you will like touch you and that'll turn you no matter what. And you're like stuck with trying to deal with that. Also the I don't mind the geometry of the places, although the fans they need to stop stuttering.
Oh, I haven't come
Like
across that yet. That would be a bummer.
yeah, it's kind of like
I
lag.
have
Like
a problem with that.
they'll spin and then they'll just teleport back to a previous location, and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna hit that now.
Man, that sucks.
It hasn't happened to me at all yet.
That hasn't happened to me either, but
I've seen it. It's definitely lagging game. I've checked when it's happened.
Yeah, and let me see. Um, so that's all adding up to making wins fairly hard to get. If you just make one mistake, you're gone.
yeah, that's actually one of the complaints that I see most frequently on the internet is that it's so easy to go from number one to number four or number six.
Well, it's because they have like a catch-up mechanic, and the people behind you are always behind you, no matter how flawlessly you're doing.
Interesting. I kind of feel like I felt that as well. I actually hate being in the front because I don't feel like I have something to drive for. For the first day, all I was hitting was ones and twos. I was either in first place or second place, and then the second day I was playing, it was like fives and sixes. I wonder if that has anything to do with leveling up, like if they've done that. So you say that there's actually a catch-up mechanic?
Well, there seems to be. I mean,
Well, I mean,
at the
if
same
nothing else,
time,
your gates are wider the further you are back
well,
in line, making it
yeah,
easier to hit every boost.
It's true.
yeah. But other than that, it seems like at times the person in the lead, no matter what you do, you can't catch up to them. And other times, someone will go from sixth to first,
Yeah.
which just seems very odd.
I've noticed that as well. It's some of it's sad to just hit a wall and then just watch everybody race by you. But when you're one of those people, it's really fun to watch that lead guy hit the wall and then watch everybody go by him. What is your rep?
I'm one win away from completing S rank.
Okay. Uh, what is that in Holiday?
He meant what
The,
is your rank like in terms of
yeah.
your rep meter, not your license?
I think 3
Okay.
or 2. No, I'm 2.
Two. Okay. Um, anything else you want to throw out there, Jess?
No, that's it.
Okay. Agrios, you have not bought the book. You were excited before and after, or at least mostly positive. What are your thoughts? Like, I imagine that. Okay, well, you know what? What is your rank with Holiday? Let's get that there.
I'm not sure. I got one set of bounties done on each character, and like up to like the license where you win your chest piece
Okay.
on all three of my characters. So I'm not sure what I ended up at the end of the day, but whatever that puts me at, that's where I was.
So why don't you give everybody your thoughts, whatever you got on Sparrow Racing League?
A lot of fun. Should launch with more maps.
Is that
It
it?
was about what I expected it to be. That's all I really have to say about it. It was nice for what it was. I liked it.
I like how you speak in past tense.
Right. There's still 2 more weeks.
Well, it's happened now.
2 more weeks of
Keep
these 2
happening,
tracks. Come on, you can make it.
Alrighty then. Sharks. How far along are you? And what do you think? What is your total takeaway?
How far along am I? I've done my S rank on all three characters. I'm at 2.5 on all three characters. Why I don't just do one character and level it up to 3 so I can get tons of 320 gear, I don't know. I think it's because I'm a completionist, and it's the same thing I do during Iron Banner, and I get all 3 to 5. I may change my tactics tomorrow, but I haven't decided yet. I really like the Sparrow Racing League. I know that there are people that do not like it because, unfortunately, this is definitely a skilled-based game for sure. If you're not good at driving that Sparrow, you're not going to be in first. In fact, if you're not good at driving that Sparrow, there's a good chance that you're not even going to get in the top 3. And I've seen frustrations from a few people with that. Lucky enough, I don't have that frustration at all. I'm in first a lot of the time. So, but it is really fun. I like having something new out there like this. I think it was great. Like I say, when you asked earlier, my thoughts on the Sparrow Racing League when they announced it. I mean, it was kind of a bummer because you're expecting Bungie to release all this extra stuff, this stuff that we've been hoping for a while, extra content and whatnot. And this is kind of like a PvP event. And well, in fact, it is a PvP event because you get Crucible rank. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, that's kind of disappointing in a lot of ways. But I think it's a great event. I hope it sticks around. I hope that when they bring it back, that they bring back multiple maps because it definitely needs that if it's going to stick around because people are going to get bored just doing 2 maps over and over and over again. They might get really good at it, but they're going to get bored with it. I also think that Bungie's done a really good job with reworking dropping light level stuff now, because you can work your way to get to that rank 3 and get light level 320 stuff drop, which is part of the other reason why I'm really excited to do this. But there are some buts with this. It's wow, that sounds really bad. I don't know what that noise is, but it sounds horrible. The problems I have with it is that it is just straight racing, and for a lot of the stuff that people like in Destiny, it's not going to bring excitement to them. In fact, Grufu came up with a really good idea the very first day that she looked at it. She goes, "Oh, it's really fun, but it'd be neat if it was more along the lines like Mario Kart. You could, chuck a grenade at somebody." Pick up a gun that you can use for 2 seconds or something along that lines, make it a little bit more entertaining instead of just a straight race. So I hope that they look into doing stuff like that. I was really bummed about the gear that you work towards in the quest because you couldn't change the color on it. And that was one of the things that they had said in the in the release when Deej was talking, because he did an interview at PSX, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's great. You can change the gear color and all that stuff." And I was like, I was really expecting it going to be that gear that you're working towards in the quest. Well, that gear is crap. It's grayish brown looking gear, and there's nothing really to it. So I was bummed on that part, but you do end up you can get gear dropped, which you can color. So I mean that part's kind of cool. Um, I was also bummed. I was bummed with the rewards that you get for finishing the LXIX quest, because you have an opportunity to get a sparrow, but you also have an opportunity to get a horn. And I've done it on all 3 characters. I got 1 sparrow and 2 horns, and yeah, that really bummed me out. And as for the book, okay, because I'm playing this so much, and because I love talking about it, I would love to go and get that book just for the lap times, and I don't know what else it tracks. I know it tracks all kinds of stuff, but I think that $10 for that is outrageous, especially when the only other thing that you're getting is an emblem, a shader, and some stupid gear that apparently you can't even change the color to. I mean, it's really neat that it has the lights on it, but you can't do anything. You're going to be the same. And I'm totally anti being the same as everybody anymore. So I mean that's what's really bummed me out about that particular microtransaction. I'm all for, if they want to put spend $3 and get this sparrow, go for it. But for that book for $10, if it was cheaper than $10, I probably would have jumped on it. But because it was $10, that's what's really kept me away. But I don't have a lot of gripes about the game. I really do enjoy it, and I really applaud Bungie for coming out with something that a lot of us for a long time. I mean, I remember way back in the beginning that you were saying, "I wish we had Sparrow Racing. I wish we had Sparrow Racing," and you weren't the only one that was saying it. And
Totally.
they did it, and I think that's awesome. That's really cool. And if they keep coming out with stuff like this, and especially if they keep improving upon stuff like this is really going to help bring or keep people playing Destiny. Maybe not everybody. There are some people that just love Fallout too much, and this isn't going to bring them back. But there are other people out there that it will keep us entertained for a while. So.
Chicken Lord says Dr. Professor is the best, and I'm forced to agree because that is the truth. So let's see. I wanted to address.
One thing I wanted to add as a negative I thought of, it's kind of a small thing, but it bothers me. There's actually a grimoire card for getting that record book.
Uh-oh.
So
it's $10 grimoire card.
I didn't know that.
That's borderline not cosmetic to me. There's no point value, so it's not going to affect your grimoire point score. But from a collection, I'm playing Destiny and I want to complete the collections that I have access to, aspect, that's that's lore. That's not really cosmetic.
Well, if you want to get into that, every single piece of DLC is like, here's a bunch of content and some grimoire cards.
Okay, so let's see. Our Tyler Lynn says, I'm going to pass on the book. Bought a sparrow and an emote, but $10 for stats that might not return is too steep for me. Also, let's see. Busy SGS says, I like SRL, but I feel they crossed a line with the $10 book. And you know what? The more I think about it, $10 was too high of a price point for what you got. Now, if they combined what they should have learned from the from listening to this podcast about the Festival of the Lost, like what they should have done was given everybody a book. Everybody should have gotten a book. You go to Holiday, she says, here is all your stuff. But here is an additional, like here is a pro license. You can buy optional pages in this book if you want to go pro, and then they could give you something that would be special along the lines of that glowing skull that the Festival of the Lost have. Because I like that you see what you're getting in that book before you buy it. I mean, you don't know anything about it unless you go online and check out the stats and how those things work. That was a little off-putting, but if they put something that was as wanted, like can you imagine like a hog, like a great big engine and flames spitting out the sides? Like a lot of those sparrows are really really
Then
cool.
then I would be down for it though. See, that's the kind of cosmetic stuff that I think that particular book is lacking.
But if they only have one and there's no RNG base, just simply everybody who pays the money is going to all look identical.
Well, I mean, if you can do it,
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
So
think
you really think they're going to? The community would be okay with them charging money for something that's going to be so difficult that only a small percentage of the populace will end up being able to complete what they paid for?
that it's not difficult to complete the stuff in the book.
I don't think it is, but I'm saying he said if they make it difficult to get this hog that he's talking about.
No, make it impossible unless you buy the book. That's what Remy's saying.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would totally be down for that because
everybody the book will still all look the same, which was one of the points you brought up as being a negative before.
yeah,
Part
but
of the
that
reason I take the skull is because not everybody who just paid money could get that, and you're unique while wearing it. That's why you like wearing it, right?
Well, but that skull went out to the people who
that
who
put down money.
mostly who put down money. I did hear that there were people who could get that from that opening, from that very first one. But yeah, the people who put down money.
There's people who are recorded paying $100 in silver and not getting the skull.
But that's why I'm saying they had to have learned from listening to this podcast. Instead of it being an RNG based thing, here is how you get this. Like here is how you get this hog, and it's
I agree with all that, but what I'm saying is, but then you're back to the problem is that everybody who simply pays the money is all going to look identical, and it takes away the specialness again.
Yeah, but think about it. How many people are going to fork out $10?
A lot of people, most of the people, according to like, if you use our podcast as example, there's only two of us that didn't buy it, and we're both the two who didn't buy it or thinking about getting it. And there's not even a real big cool hog.
right. But I think that if everybody got a book, like this is the point I'm trying to make. If everybody got a book, um, and then you hid those really super special things behind this $10 additional set of goals, I think that their uproar in the community would have been less. Like I don't care about these cosmetic things. I'm happy with the book that I have right now and getting whatever was on this side of that paywall. Because you're not taking everything away from the person. You're just taking away these additional things. My problem with the Festival of the Lost is, like you said, some people paid $100 and didn't get it. I would crap in my pants.
Here's what I think is really stupid, and this is something that I saw on Reddit, and this is what I totally agree with, is that they are charging you $10 for a stat. Now, if you really really think about it, there you can go online and see so many different stats from Destiny. So why is it that this one stat cost you $10?
Well, I'd like to think that that's just like the quest for what you're buying is the playbook. What you're actually buying is a full set of unique armor, a unique emblem, and a unique shader for $10. That's what you're really buying.
That's pretty high price when you compare, especially when this is armor that
Oh, I
you can't
agree.
use for anything other than sparrow racing because it doesn't have light. But you can go and you can get an emote which is a lot cheaper, and you have that for forever, and you can use that all the time.
So I'd like to think they're going to bring the Sparrow Racing back if it's successful, like the Iron Banner type event. Like we're going to see it at least once per month for a week. The first initial launch is like 3 weeks long, though. That's just speculation. My guess is how they'll handle it in the future. But who knows? Maybe they'll just do it once per quarter for 3 full weeks. Something like that would be fine too, I suppose. But I mean, when you break it down, that's whatever $10 divided by 6 is. That's less than it's like $1.80 or something like that. In that general idea, for each of those items, when you look at other games and what they're charging for individual pieces of armor, the ones that sell like cosmetic based things, that's not that far above what they might be charging for a single item, under $2.
I don't know. I just think it's overpriced.
I agree it's overpriced, but I'm just saying, looking at other games and holding this up relative, that if you break it down, you're buying 6 items for $10. That's less than $2 per digital item. And although that's high priced, that's not, unheard of by any means.
Wait a minute though. You're not buying 6 items. Okay, let's get that straight. You're buying one set of gear because you're not going to wear that gear unless you have the whole set or the lights don't work. So you're buying one set of gear. You're buying an emblem. You're buying an emblem and a shader.
Right, that's
And
matter.
Sparrow.
I was
And
just
a sparrow. Yeah, and a sparrow.
For other games that you might have to buy a single helmet for under $2. You might buy a single.
I don't play other games, so you can't compare it to other games. You have to compare it to what we pay for in Destiny.
What their community,
also-
their customers are actually out there paying for in other places.
Also, that one set of gear includes one different helmet for each class.
That's
Okay, so that's
unattainable
actually-
otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's actually not 8 items then.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think seriously, if they dropped the price in it, or they did something different, or like Joey says, they initially had a book for people, and then if you wanted to do extra stuff for that gear, pay money then. But just the way that they did it, I think it's all wrong.
The way I kind of look at it, like, I know this isn't exactly right because there's all kinds of money that goes into the development of the program, but once you hit your cost on developing something, everything after that's just pure profit since it's all digital and whatnot. So, like, I feel like they have probably meticulously calculated this price based upon their already knowledge they've gained from Eververse. And although there are some people out there happy with it, I think they're probably making plenty of money off of it at the price point that it's at. So I don't know, by charging that much less, if they get that many more people to buy it than already are buying it, to actually justify the decrease in price.
Okay, so Debulge22 says, I bought the book. I love Destiny and I support the game I love. And I feel like I didn't know exactly what the book was about when I bought it. I bought the book for this reason specifically. I want Bungie to continue to make it's not like there's not also an event associated with this. It's not like here's just this, spend $10 and here's some more different gear. Like this, I feel like this is all a packaged product. Certainly there is some kind of money involved in this, but it doesn't have to be. A lot of people that I've been I will ask people what they think about this, and a lot of them will say to me, I love it. It's a free event and I'm having a great time. And I think to myself, that's the right attitude to have. If you're upset that they're charging these dollars for this, then just don't buy it. And then maybe you're right. Maybe they will take that into account. It's Jez says you can get horns as a Nightfall reward now. That's not good. But yeah, I'll tell you what. My support of Destiny goes so far that I would pay $10 a month. I would pay $10 a month to be a guardian of the city, like a special guardian of the city. Now, I don't even know how that would change what happened for me in game. I think even if it didn't give me anything, I mean, I would like some kind of cosmetic or something, but I would, because I love this game, because I spend so much time on it, because I spend so much time thinking about it, I would pay them a monthly fee just to be this pro guardian.
Okay, here's something funny because I said that to Agrius the other day. I said at this point because we were talking about the book. I said at this point I think I would rather pay a monthly fee than to pay into getting random stuff. Why not just pay a monthly fee? How why wouldn't we do that? And Agrius had an argument for it, but I totally agree with you, Remy.
Yeah, so you would pay to be this special guardian of the city, this agent?
Yeah, because that's the way of supporting the game, and then you know that the game's going to continue that way. Instead of because the way they have it set up right now with the Eververse doing that, people don't have to spend money on it, and so if let's go out there and say 99% of the people say screw this, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to pay the money towards it. Well, then we're not going to get these updates. We're not going to get these quote unquote free things. So that's going to kill the game. But if you had people that are just paying to stay in the game, then you would automatically get those updates because you're
The
already paying for
problem
it.
is the people who make the one-time compulsive spontaneous purchases. Not only that, but they know what they're getting ahead of time. Like you said, this is what you're going to get for the money you're spending. So there's no, I'm going to spend $10 a month and now you have to appease me. When you look at the business models, most of the MMO type games and things are going over to a free to play model with microtransactions because they're simply making a lot more money doing it. Like the games who are still on subscription models, like World of Warcraft, are seeing the lowest participation numbers they have ever had since they got big.
Totally. And so this would just be a an optional thing, like that Bungie Pro. You absolutely positively did not need that. I wanted it.
And
Um,
that would work. Many of the ones who have gone to a free to play microtransaction model also have a subscription option with bonuses for having the subscription. In fact, ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, works on that exact model.
Yeah, but you guys also have to take into consideration if there was a monthly fee, then that's the same thing as buying a DLC because you don't know what you're going to get with that DLC.
But the
And
monthly fee is ongoing. So if you cease to pay the monthly fee, you lose access to the content which you've already been playing.
I don't have a problem with that.
But a lot of people do.
but that's
That's the
why
problem.
I think that I would do it. I would do it. I love Destiny. I love everything about it. Even if they gave me nothing but an emblem that said that I was an agent of the city, I would pay $10 a month to just to support them. In addition to whatever dances I wanted to get, like I would pay for those. The DLCs that are coming out, I would pay for those separately. Like I want to say I support Destiny. I want to say it publicly. I want to say it for everyone to see. And I understand that that's not for everyone, but that's for me. That's for the people like me who want this. I take a sense of personal pride in this game, even though I have nothing to do with it whatsoever, and have no reason to believe that anybody has ever even heard anything that I've ever said about it. I I want it to succeed. I want to be part of the solution. And I understand that there's many people who would just laugh at me and think that I'm lame for wanting to do that. But that's how much I love this game. That's how much I went in on this. Crimson, you got something on this?
Sorry, muted. Um, I'd have to agree with a lot of what's said. I really wish the book itself was cheaper. Um, the amount that they're asking for, I think, was way too high, but I got it anyway. I don't know. The other part of it is too is like you are expecting these people to pay into it, and I do feel like we needed more content. Like these two maps definitely needed a change. Um, But that's basically it.
Got it. All right. Well, we're at 1 hour right this second. So we should probably wrap up the sparrow racing talk. I mean, if you guys think of something, Jez especially like horns dropping its nightfall rewards. That's crazy.
Well,
Something
two
interesting
quick
about
tips
that
about
is.
that.
Oh, what? What were you gonna say?
Go ahead, Jess. No, go ahead, Jess.
I was gonna say the horn kit also has a chance of dropping one of the coolest sparrows, which is
yeah, that
makes no
EV
sense.
that EV40 or whatever.
Yeah,
Man, I want that one so bad. It's so beautiful. I want to know, do the sparrows that drop, do they function differently? Like, do they corner tighter or anything like this?
Some of them
that
do. Mesashawn did a video on it. He said that some of them are actually a little bit different.
Hmm.
Well, right on. Um,
Quick
okay.
notes about the sparrow racing bit and the horns, for that matter. Unlike the Halloween event where you could break down the legendary mask they gave you to get glue to turn one of your other temporary masks into the legendary version, if you break down the legendary happy horn they gave you initially, it does not yield the
The
the item
the
that,
item.
yeah, I can't remember, the item that converts your blue
horn
horn to the
relay.
legendary. So yeah, horn relay, right? So don't break down that happy horn thinking you're going to get something out of it.
You
The other
know,
ones do though.
the other legendary ones do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you break down the happy horn because you can get a free one in the kiosk.
Oh, okay.
So Bobcat, which one do you think is the best feeling one? What one do you use? Um, that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that, Agrios. I thought I was
Another,
hoping that that's how that was going to work, but I had not yet broken down my legendary one just in case. So
and then another helpful tip is some of the bounties require you to do tricks on the course. Those tricks can actually take place after the finish line. In that time you have to still race around, you can
uh,
take care of doing your tricks then as well.
that's awesome. That's really awesome. It said in the description that emotes worked too, but I
They
didn't.
do. They do.
I tried and it would not register for me. I
Yeah, the
easily
emotes
did.
weren't working for me either.
Yeah, okay. um so let's wrap this up by saying, okay, so two two yes or no questions. Number one, do you think that Sparrow Racing League should be back, period? And do you think that Sparrow Racing League should come back even if it was exactly how it is right now? Crimson.
If it was exactly no, just because I feel like no one would play it if it's exactly the same. Um, but I would love to see it come back with new maps and new sets of gear.
Jez.
Not as it's currently.
But yes, otherwise you think that Sparrow Racing is a
It,
something that people are entertained by, and that you could see why they would want to have it back.
it has a future. I'll just say that.
Okay, it has a future. Agrios.
Yes, and on all accounts, even if it wasn't changed, I think that some events and more options of things to do are better than none at all. I obviously wouldn't put it up at the cost of something else better, but if it's just a question of should it come back, well, yeah, why the heck not? Shouldn't it come back? Even if it's the exact same form it is, there's going to be new Guardians coming at Christmas that never experienced the form it is. I, in fact, think even though people didn't like the Queen's Wrath event, they still should have kept bringing it back when people wanted content. It was something to do. It may not have been awesome and long term and super repeatable, but you could go run it a handful of times and have fun. So, I mean, there's no other way to ever go do any of those story missions with any sort of modifiers again or anything after that. I think it was, although minuscule in scope compared to what we were looking for at that point in time,
Uh,
that it wasn't like tragic enough that, oh, this is broken and shouldn't exist anymore.
got it.
So,
Got it. That's a really cool answer, Agrios. And just real quick, do you imagine that you will buy that book in the next 2 weeks?
I'll tell you what, I will. That remains to be seen. I do have issues with it, like the fact that you only get one look out of it. Like I would be more enthralled if there was all identical but an RNG maybe look to it, but then that crosses into that real world money thing. But if you can only unlock one with your character, no matter what, then that takes that aspect away. You just get the one you get, no matter what. I think the other thing that's holding me back, I think maybe I would have been more up to buy it off the bat if they hadn't already put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth with the microtransactions. I was a huge proponent of having it. I mean, right after Destiny launched, I said, where are all the microtransactions for like random shaders and stuff that help make them make more money to make me a better game? Like, I like the games that provide cosmetic microtransactions. I don't like the real world slot machine. I like, if someone's going to go out there, they can pay X amount of money to get the in-game item they want. I find that acceptable. But when they went and hid that skull behind that real world money slot machine, that really left a bad taste in my mouth. It made me less interested in supporting microtransactions in Destiny as a whole because of that one deviancy. Until I, see that they're not going to continue down that road, I'm going to be less apprehensive on all points spending any money into microtransactions and supporting that feature in Destiny.
Got
Do
it.
you want a second bad taste in your mouth?
Well, Jez, I don't. You should probably say no when another dude asks you that question. But for the sake that we're on audio only here, I think it's okay to say yes.
Yeah. So you know how they put all the old emotes under that one fall emote mystery bag
Uh-huh.
that
Yes.
contains a random emote from fall 2015?
That you're likely not to have.
Yeah, exactly. That they added the
guaranteed
words
not to
highly
have.
likely to contain an emote not currently owned.
But it might.
Yeah,
So that
just
was
like
that.
the
But
legacy engram, it's highly likely to give you an item that you don't have, but Bungie's RNG has a very bad likelihood of giving you the things you already have.
I agree. It should guarantee not to give you an identical one. And the only reason that I'm not as completely disgusted by the existence of that particular product is the fact that it appears as though they're going to be bundling the specific emotes in packages aside from that. And as long as they change those packages, at some point you'll have the option to buy the emote you want for a set price.
It would
So
be
I'm not quite as
nice.
mad.
It'd be nice if they dropped down the price of what they used to sell it at, because now you could buy it and get a thing that you already have for the
Right.
So
same price that you would have bought it normally.
do you think they should allow in-game trading of silver items?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And then additionally, I have another question on top of that before we go to everybody. For people like sharks, for instance, that have this flaming skull, or for people who have, well, I know anybody can really earn the set of stuff that the scorecard comes with, but I mean, you still technically have to earn it, I suppose. Would you be upset if in a future, in particular for the skull though, in future, if they actually sold that skull for a set price for silver, and you had to go RNG for it? Would that be upsetting to you, or do you find that acceptable? And I guess let's tag one more thing into that before we go to everybody. When they first launched this new program, people without buying the Sparrow Racing book were able to click on tests, view it, detail on the product to view it, and go ahead and redeem the actual individual quest without buying the book and get the rewards. Now, those people were able to keep those items, although apparently they're not going to be able to wear them without buying the book.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about these kind of situations?
Well, I'll touch on that second one. It's just really stupid to, I don't know, not test it. but I also can see how you would just not think, oh, if it doesn't show my thing up there as completed, it's definitely not completed, so I can't click on it, and you just don't bother look at it that way. So I don't really care about that oversight, although it was. It's kind of glad that they added the thing to just kind of say, hey, if you don't have the book, you can't use these things. But I don't know, it's a weird line. Because at that point, you're like, You're just telling people that that's what you buy the book for.
Hmm.
Okay, so I asked my buddy Bobcat what the best SRL sparrows was, and he says the Arc Runner or the Hot Pink Sparrow. So I'm going to try those out, and I'll get back to you guys next week and see if I feel the same thing. Sharks, you spent some money RNGing that helmet. Would it bother you if you could just buy it for some amount the next time it showed up?
I'd be pissed. I'd be so pissed. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy with that. I don't think I don't think that skull should ever come back unless
Do
they
you
do
think
it.
it remain permanently unavailable,
Yes,
or only locked behind an RNG wall, or not even available behind an RNG wall anymore?
only an RNG wall or not at all. Because if they bring it back and they sell it for like $2, all the people that spent lots and lots of money are going to be so mad, and I'm one of them. I would be pissed about that. Now, at the same time, I think that RNG wall is stupid and that they shouldn't have it for anything. But if they're going to bring back something that already had it behind that wall, they better keep it that way.
Well, what about the year one emotes? How they have them behind one of those walls now, or in the packages?
Yeah, but
What
that
if
was
they were to offer all of those just available individual sell again? Would that be okay since they were at one point available for individual
yeah.
sell?
I don't see a problem with them selling that at all. And as far as having it behind the random wall, I mean, you're guaranteed to get something. I like you and Jess were talking about. I do not like how it says that there is a possibility, basically, of getting the same thing. In fact, I got the same thing during sparrow racing. I got two sets of gauntlets, which
So,
really bummed me out. But I don't think that they should have that at all. They should have. This is just coding that they can put in. If you have it already, then you get something different. Period. Especially on something like that.
so you say it's not acceptable for them to offer that skull for individual sell right now. Now, say a new Guardian comes in at Christmas time, and they go to
Mhm.
log in, and they find out that Carlton dance exists.
Yep.
Okay, and they really want that. The only way to get it is behind that RNG emote
Mhm.
wall. They find out, so they go and spend $50 and
Yep.
finally get it. Okay, would it? I mean, knowing just what this Christmas Guardian knows, going in and making that purchase, just like you made your skull purchase, is it acceptable for them to turn around and resell the Carlton for a normal silver price at some point?
Well, to be quite honest, I really think that they should not have this random crap at all. Period. I don't like the slot machine win scenario that they've
I
put
don't
in
like it either,
Eververse.
but it's already happened.
Well,
So
I know,
being
but
that it's
they could
already
change
happened
it.
this way,
They could change it. They didn't have to come back with these mystery bags. That's
right? But I
bull.
mean, it's already happened now. So Christmas Guardian comes and wants that Carlton emote and buys it, like
Uh-huh.
I said. Like, so I mean, is it now no longer okay for them to bring that back? Just like it's not okay for them to sell the skull?
Yeah, I would say yes. I
Okay.
totally think so. If you're gonna anything that you put in RNG mode that you have to spend money on, they should never put it back where you can just get it again.
Okay.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. So Sharks, your question: do you think that Sparrow Racing League should be come back in some form? Yes or no? And do you think that it should come back even if it's the same exact thing that we're looking at right now?
I love Sparrow Racing. I think that it's one of the best things that's happened to Destiny in a very long time, especially when it's something that's come here free. I mean, in reality, it's free. You don't have to spend any money to go and do it. So, yes, it should come back. Even if they don't change it, yeah, it should come back. Iron Banner doesn't change. Well, until last Iron Banner when they changed to Clash, but I mean, Iron Banner didn't change. So yeah, and people still play it. There's people moan about it, and they don't play some of the Iron Banner too. But it's definitely something that should stay here. Yes, totally.
Okay, excellent. I feel the same way. Like as much of a misstep as I feel not giving everybody a card to look at and to maybe want to go back and beat, and then offer perhaps Like here is just this other one that you can buy as well. I feel like withholding it was wrong, and it's creating this discord. But definitely, I would love to see it back, and I would spend another $10 on another book on the next book. I mean, I'm going to need more vault space here soon, just because. But
I mean, that's the other biggest problem currently is us day one guardians, especially the collectors among us. Like, I am so discouraged about, buying this book, about participating in these events, because I am going to have to delete things that make me unhappy deleting to make room for these new things that I'm just one day going to have to delete again to make me unhappy again. And it's a kind of a vicious cycle.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
never had a game that didn't sell additional vault space cause me so much of a headache over vault space.
yeah.
And I mean, Fallout has just, I mean, oh my God, is it liberating to put as many things anywhere you want as you want? Oh,
Yeah, that is. You know what though? I've started to hoard things. Like I've got like I've got a bunch of road leathers that at some point a new person is going to come into the community and I'm going to outfit them. But I've just started collecting everything. I don't know. All right, so we gotta move on. Uh, not that I feel like we should not have spent this much time on Sparrow Racing League, but there's other things to talk about. I did want to bring up that not only is it skill based, but it's like you need to pay attention the entire time you're playing. Like in sometimes, in regular Crucible, I will run around a corner and I'll check my sights, I'll check my sight lines, and then I can do something like look and see if my daughter's trying to burn the house down. Like. But with Sparrow Racing League, I feel like my eyes are like just up with toothpicks. Like, and if you look away for a second, that's it.
Oh my
it's
gosh!
funny that you say that. Oh,
Yes.
Shark, you going to tell the story? Go ahead.
Yes. So Agros and I are playing. We're racing, and then this beeping goes off. This beeping goes off every single hour. Normally, the beeping lasts for 2 seconds because he pushes his phone because he has an alarm on it. It went on for 2.5 minutes.
We're racing. So I set alarms to help me just keep track of the day. Like, I like an alarm to go off and be like, oh, it's that time. That way time doesn't get away from me and I can accomplish everything I need to accomplish. Normally, like Shark said, I just hit the button super quick. If I'm in the middle of a regular Crucible match, I can duck around a corner long enough to push a button beside me.
Yeah.
But with Sparrow Racing, it was going off. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do anything about this. I can't take a hand off my controller for a split second or I'm going to lose the race.
Yep. Yep.
So I just had to suck it up. I'm like, oh my God, stop, no!
That's awesome. All right, great. Agrios, man, is there anything else to even talk about?
Not with Sparrow Racing, but I'll tell you what, there's still a lot of other stuff going on in the community. We had the new, weapon update going on this week. And I mean, that's the real, there was a bit of controversy with that. Apparently, a lot of the numbers that were initially released were not accurate. And they addressed that in the weekly update tonight. So the long and short of it, they had working numbers that they were kind of working on, and they were like generally working on before they did the final tweaks. And the people who helped put together the actual update that was posted aren't the ones who are actually making the technical changes. And I guess inadvertently, some of the working numbers got posted that pertain to other things, as opposed to the numbers that were actually being finally input into the game. And even after the update had been posted in advance, no one realized this because the people who all had the technical know-how to realize, oh, wait, that's not quite right. They already had their nose down in whatever is going to be happening next after this for, weeks already. So in a nutshell, that's what happened. But the weekly update did in fact land on Tuesday. To some people's dismay, auto rifles did not really receive the buff that everybody was anticipating. I mean, we were all quite scared of Zalo Supercell's final form after this, but for a large part, none of these weapons have really changed at all. Now, some of our perceived amount of no change. That's weird phrasing there, but some of the amount of some of the lack of change that we perceive comes from the fact that our UI is a little bit more lightened up. Like we only see whole numbers on the damage we do, but it appears the system keeps track of, portions of damage beyond that. So although it rounds to 20, you might be doing 19.9 damage per bullet instead of 19.5 damage per bullet that you were doing before. You don't see a change because it says 20 for you both times. But over time, over a number of bullets, this damage can add up. How did you guys, let's just get this out there. How did you feel about the change? Have you played with the weapons? Have you played in Crucible and PvP? And do you feel like it's been improved? Remy?
I haven't played PvP at all. I the only things that I've done so far in Destiny is on each of my characters on both systems, I try and keep just maxed bounties, because at some point I'm going to sit down and want to play these characters, and then it will be really easy for me to jump in and here's already, go to Venus and kill X amount of things, and here's 50 fallen, 10 taken majors or ultras. And so what I've been doing is every day of the Sparrow Racing League, there's X amount of new bounties. So what I do is I will pick however many I have to do, and then go get those done, and then come back to the tower and then grab those bounties and then switch to my other character and then do however many bounties that I have to do. And I have not yet started to chip away at all of the Crucible ones that I have. I've really enjoyed Crucible in the last couple of months. It wasn't something that I had a very big hold on for a while, but once I started to go with the meta and understanding what works best for me, I feel like it's something that I'm definitely excited about going back to. But yeah, I haven't noticed anything because I haven't even been there. Sharks?
Being somebody that's in our clan that is playing lots and lots of PvP, it's very sad. I have not shot any bullets at any people all week long. I've been racing. The only time I actually spent out of the Sparrow Racing League was I decided to go and do the one of the quests for Amanda Holiday for the Sparrow, and so you had to go and kill some Taken. But other than that, I haven't shot anything, so I haven't noticed the updates. But everything I've read online, it sounds like there's not really anything to write home about. So it's probably not going to be much different when I do get back into PvP.
Jez?
I think it's the most balanced PvP's been in a while. I mean, once you hit that turn and you go all wonky, then you're done for, but it's pretty balanced. No, I haven't played any games where you shoot people yet.
Crimson Warlock?
You shoot guns in Destiny? I thought you raced sparrows. I thought that's what you did. No, I have done the Taken quest a little bit, but the changes for PvE are pretty negligible, so I haven't noticed any change.
Agrios?
All my gunplay this week's been in Fallout. The rest of all my Destiny play has been on the back of a Sparrow, so haven't had a chance to really test that out yet. But I look forward to. I just have to spend my time wisely as of now, and Crucible will always be there. So it's kind of where I'm at.
There is one thing I want to interject. I am actually looking forward to doing some PvP because there's something that we haven't said, is that they also fixed the run cooldown, and that should be interesting in PvP.
Yeah, that's huge. I didn't go down the list of all the changes yet, but yeah, the run cooldown, which was exceptionally annoying before, is supposed to be completely fixed. Many of you probably experienced it. There is a problem where you would be stuck in the slow run mode like you normally are when your runs cool down, but it just would never go away. You make the visual like you're running, but you'd be going at a slower pace. And the way you could fix that before was by tapping triangle twice real quick to equip a different weapon and back. And but now hopefully that's fixed, and that'll be a pain in the ass going for sure.
Excellent.
One thing that I thought of actually while Sharks was talking there a second ago when he mentioned Amanda Holiday, she has the Chaperone Exotic Shotgun Quest. And you can actually accomplish part of that goal by simply having the last word equipped while doing your sparrow races.
No way.
Yes.
No way. You're lying right now to us and all of our listeners. Why you do that, Agrios?
No, I heard that. Yeah, that's awesome for
Not
people.
lying.
Well,
You
it's
can,
it's because it's because it's considered a PvP match, and you got credit for using last word at the end of a win.
And what
yeah,
is
as long as you
considered a
don't
win?
place last place, as long as you're not in last place,
Yeah.
you'll get
No,
points for
No,
no,
I
completion.
usually last
there's
place.
something else. You cannot crash. It's minus 2% for every crash.
Oh yeah, because crashing is you
Correct.
die.
So
with
if you
Yeah.
if you crash 3 times in a race, then you're gonna go in. Even you win, you're gonna go down. So you don't want to crash.
Does it have to be the updated last word, or does it have to be
No, just any.
any old last word?
But
Yeah, any
remember, a win is getting. If you get second place, you get 0, because that happened to me twice today. I got first place, I got 7%. I got second place twice and got 0.
But it didn't go back down.
No,
That's
No,
good
it
to
only
know.
goes down if you die.
That's good to know. Excellent tip, Agrios. Thank you.
It's also to know if you're in the middle of that quest and not planning on being careful in sparrow racing, don't accidentally leave your last word equipped when you go sparrow racing, or you might check your quest the next time. And you're like, call me back at 0. I was at 80%.
Yeah, that would be
So
sad.
definitely sad. Moving on.
Yes, please.
All right, moving on. So they had Irk come by to clarify some of his words from a tweet earlier this week about the upcoming content in Destiny. They also spoke with Eurogamer and shed some light on the same issue. And it seems like if everybody's correct here, we're looking at just having event type DLCs like the Sparrow Racing between now and when Destiny 2 comes out in the fall. They haven't exactly been clear on this, and they still say they have major events coming up. In fact, they still have not yet released the biggest piece of content since the Taken King's been released yet. So there's one more piece, bigger than anything we've gotten since Taken King was released, that we're going to get at least. But they're definitely being on the vague side as far as the details on that. A lot of people are really happy with how forthcoming they are. I'm content to see what happens. I think for their own good, it's good to have something for people to look forward to. I know some of my lack of motivation lately has come from not knowing what I'm preparing for in the future to a degree.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about their current content plans, Remy?
So when I read the words that they say, it almost sounds like that teacher from Charlie Brown. Like that they're saying something to you. Yeah. You know that they're saying something and it just isn't very clear. But I really am enjoying right now the idea that I don't know what's happening, because it was like a point that you just said. It was, you're preparing for something but you don't know what it is. And so this is what keeps you playing. This is part of what's keeping me playing, is I want to get my bounties done. I want to do my test weapons. I just want to be ready for when something drops. And I trust them to do whatever it is that they're going to do. Then again, I am that player who would pay to be a special guardian of the city with nothing other than an emblem that says I'm paying these dudes and dudettes $10 a
That's
month.
called nuts.
What's that?
They said they call that nuts. That's
Yeah.
what that is. It's called
Yeah.
being nuts.
So I really enjoyed Irk's breakdown of his tweet. That was really awesome. That was like all of the words just for hey. It's well worth a read if you haven't already checked it out. But because they're being so vague, I'm just still waiting. I'm just still going to wait. And I keep coming back to thinking about how I handled video games prior to Destiny. And there are some games like Skyrim and Oblivion and Mass Effect where I pay X amount of dollars, some kind of $60, and then I spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in these worlds. And then there's other games that I pay $60 for, and I go through and I beat it, and I don't feel like I have to continue playing it. I'm happy that it's on my shelf. I'm not going to turn it in for $10 because then I'm admitting that then basically I'm taking its value, like Oblivion. My dad wanted to take my copy of Oblivion. He came up to visit us one time, and he was like, "Oh, Oblivion, this sounds really cool. I should take it with me." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. You can buy a copy for like $5. I paid $70 for that. Like I don't want you taking off with my $70 game that you can go and buy for $5." And so when they tell us about their plans and they're vague like this, it's I feel like I've already gotten every single penny's worth that I paid to them. And so I'm just going to wait and see what it is that they think we want or what it is they think will work for them. You said once you meet a certain amount of dollars income, it's just profit. Well, I want them to be profitable. I want this to be something that they can just throw money in the air and give us new content. I think that would be really cool. Uh, as randomly, I did buy the horse armored DLC. Uh, and I was pleased with it. I mean, it would have been nice if it helped my horse, but that was a different age. That was a different age of DLC. Sharks, what do you make of all this?
You know, I really don't have a problem with them not coming out with DLCs. I do wish that they would really, definitely. I mean, they're scooting around it with everything that everybody said, but it sounds like there's not going to be any DLCs until Destiny 2, which I'm totally fine with, as long as they are smart enough to actually bring content in. If I mean, obviously they're going to. I mean, they've said they're going to. They said that they're going to bring in different stuff. There's going to be something that drops that's been bigger than anything that's dropped so far in Taken King. Well, nothing except for Sparrow League has really dropped. So
I was thinking
it's
too.
yeah, it's not going to take much to be bigger than anything in the Taken King. But uh, if they don't do it, I think that they're going to lose fan base. The hardcore people that love Destiny that come back every day just to log in and talk in the tower. Those people are here to stay, and it probably wouldn't matter if they didn't bring any content. But for those people that are getting bored with it, if they don't bring content here and there and add it, every once in a while, and I think that they should add it more often than what they've done so far with the Sparrow League, because there was a long drought before they dropped anything. That's gonna hurt them. But yeah, no, that I don't have a problem with this at all.
They said that even now, even right now in this lull, even now what the hardcore would consider a lull, and Bife is going to Twitter all the time and pulling his hairs out on Twitter talking about I need something. You need to give me something, Bungie. I need to know when is the next DLC or what is the next DLC or anything. Give me absolutely anything. Like I feel like I've just totally lost my train of concentration. Had something to do with what you were saying, had something to do with what I was saying, and it was compelling and awesome. It was good radio, and now it's gone. What were you saying, Sharks?
Well, no, just that I think that them not bringing out a DLC is going to be fine. There's
Oh,
not going to be anything wrong with that. I think what you were getting at is that like Bife and More Console, both of them, and it's not just them. There's other big names that I'm just pulling the two biggest that I can think of at the moment. But they want more content. They want more content, but you also have to take into consideration, even though those are the top 1% like we are, those are the top 1% that are also making money off of talking
oh
about the
yeah.
content. So they are going to pull their hair out. They are going to be like, crap, what am I going to do if there's nothing new? I can't just
seem to
go.
have that problem.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for people like that, and that hurts. That hurts Bungie too, because if they're not taking them into consideration, and I think honestly that's probably part of the reason why they brought more console out to PSX, is like, we don't have any content except for the Sparrow Racing. We're going to bring this out here and make it big for you and make you want to stay, because if they piss them off, they're going to be like, well, screw this. I can't make money off of doing videos for this game anymore. I'm going to go and find something else to do. So, go on.
So the what I was where I was going with that is that Deej said just this last week at PSX that more people are playing their game now than have ever played before. Like, they've done nothing but moved up in terms of people who play their games every day, and you have to wonder who those people are when such a small percentage have done so many of the achievements slash trophies. Like, only X amount
There
of.
are a lot of casual gamers out there. Like, I have my one friend, like one of my best friends I grew up with, who lives back in Pennsylvania where I moved away from. He hasn't hit level 20 on his one and only character yet.
That's
And he
amazing.
got it before House of Wolves launched.
Bungie is really good at teasing us with stats. They've teased us with a stat today, and you can read into it one way or another depending on how you're talking about it. But I think that if Bungie really wants to let us know, and they're not going to, they don't want they probably don't want us to know, because the way that they talk about these stats make it sound bigger than maybe it really is, and so that wouldn't be good for their standings. But the real stat I'd like to see is number of number of different actual, like, PlayStation and Xbox accounts, not Guardians that have gone and done Oryx, because you have three per account. Some people have three, some people have multiple accounts, blah blah blah. But actually give, okay, this week 3,000, that those are low numbers, but 3,000 PSN accounts logged in and played Destiny. This week, 1 million logged in and played Destiny. That would really start giving us real numbers and let us know, are there really lots of people playing? Or, maybe the casuals are going to play more during the break, the Christmas break and stuff like that. I could totally see that happening. So that's all I had.
Awesome.
So we were talking about stats and things like that. Something I'd like to throw in there is the Crota's. We just yesterday had the Crota's End 1 year anniversary. So yesterday, 1 year ago, Crota's End launched.
That's crazy.
So yeah, to put that in perspective for you, I thought that too, because I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. Like, Crota's End launched an entire year ago at this point, but it in fact was. And part of what made me think of that was, like, my friend who I said isn't even level 20 yet. He actually he got Destiny just before Christmas that year, right after Crota's. He's had Destiny for a couple weeks short of a year, and he still hasn't hit level 20 on one of his characters yet, because he's that casual of a gamer. So, we really are kind of like the less than 1% of gamers, the people who, play to the extent that we do.
Yeah. I would like to know who the everyday guardians are. The people who come in and spend 45 minutes a day, like the people who, I don't know. I'd like to know how many guardians are in a clan, because I feel like that will tell you how close they are to playing more and more. Like, if you're in a clan, it means that you've sought this out somehow. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So wait, well, there is Well, I was going to say there is some metric on there, but I guess the PlayStation trophies aren't the greatest metric because they include all the throwaway accounts that are created for conventions and things like that too. So
That's got to be
the
a tiny fraction, though.
well, I don't know. You wonder how many different organizations, how many Activisions created, how many Bungies created, how many PlayStations created, how many,
Well, think about this. There were 5,000 people at PSX. If all 5,000 tried Destiny,
Well, they don't create a fresh account for all that. They have stations set up where the same 8 Guardians or the same 6 or yeah, what is it?
12.
The same, yeah, the same 12 are playing the same 12. So the same 12 gamer tags. You don't use your own gamer tag. You use whatever ones at the station you go to.
oh, is that how it works? Oh, okay. I
So
didn't
it depends
realize.
on. So there's going to be 24 gamer tags per station. Maybe this booth has 6 stations set up. That's 6 times 24. That's how many gamer tags they have and they're using for their event.
Yeah. Well, then really the only way we're ever going to find out how many people play Destiny is if Bungie ever come out in a weekly update and say this many accounts logged in this week. Period. I mean, that would be the easiest way for us to know.
All right. Our Velvet J, thank you for subscribing. And additionally, I know that feeling you're in a clan and you're a lone wolf. That's crazy. They're all playing other games right now. We have 20 minutes. Let's make it count. Agrios.
Okay. Well, we once the statistic of the week goes back to sparrow racing again. We can't seem to get away from it. Over 12 million lives, both Guardian and enemies they fight on the tracks of Mars and Venus have gotten killed. They gotten taken. So that says though includes by Guardians and the enemies they fight. So I mean,
How
this
many
counts.
times? How many
Like,
times have you died in a race? That's a really weak stat. That is.
But it says and the enemies they fight. So that has to do with how many like goblins and things like that are killed on the tracks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's a really weak stat. That's adding up every single time that somebody's died. I mean, shoot, at the end of a race, how many people jump off their sparrows over and over and over again? Is that counted as a death?
Probably.
Yeah, so that's a lame stat. That
But
is.
I know I've even gotten blue engrams off of enemies that have gotten killed on the tracks by sparrow racers in front of me. So all those goblins and things that are getting killed by the racers are getting counted in that too.
Well, all right then. Moving on.
Moving on. It's definitely a weird stat. I like the statistic of the week like idea, but I would prefer something that actually makes me ponder something or gives me some sort of insight to the way something's operating.
Right.
Those are the kind of
Instead of pondering, well, which ones are which, for example, if they said this many guardians and this many enemies, that would be an interesting statistic.
Well, I get better stats from Bungie when they send them in an email. I got an email that said I had killed 4 of the saber. Oh shoot, I can't think what they're called. What's the saber dude? Shanks. 4 saber shanks. And there have been 300,000 saber shanks killed in total since the drop of the Taken King. That's a real stat. Even that's kind of weak, but I mean that's a real stat for me. It shows how many times I've done a particular strike or something like that.
Moving on.
All right, so like we said earlier, we had the update land earlier this week that made a change to a number of things. We talked about the weapon loadouts, but that's not all that changed. They in fact had a hotfix land again now already after the update to correct a couple issues, like the exotic leg engrams were not decrypting into anything. There was a future war cult ship that could be dismantled for reputation. And we previously mentioned how people were able to redeem some of the items from the record book without purchasing it. They're also aware that currently active players are sometimes being returned to orbit due to inactivity, even though they are in fact active players. This actually happened to K-Dub earlier this week. He's one of our Guardian 1 members, who's one of the hosts currently on Guardian Radio. And yeah, he was in the middle of an event, and he just kicked him to orbit, said for inactivity, even though he was, actively doing things.
Right, and probably never been more active in his whole playing Destiny career. Like eyes glued to the TV and then just gone. That sucks. I wanted to say real quick, K-Dub is killing it on Guardian Radio. Like he straight asked Irk, what's up with damn, I can't remember what it is. Custom games.
Well, it was Lars and Deej, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah.
And I think Deej actually got a little mad at him about his little dig about Thorn.
I think so too. It
was amusing. It was extremely amusing.
That's what I'm saying. He's killing it. Like that's like this is they are sparring. It was a sparring match.
Well, and K-Dub's one of the favorites on Guardian Radio. It's really funny if you go to Reddit. Everybody talks about K-Dub, how he's a class act and he goes straight for the punches, but it's not horrible and whatnot. So yeah, no, everybody loves K-Dub.
Whoa. Whoa.
That was a ball.
Continue.
Continuing. So there are some issues regarding the collection kiosk availability of the Peregrine Greaves and the MK44 stand-asides. And also with the quest step, more bullets is not progressing when players meet the requirements. So they're aware of these issues and hopefully going to get a fix out shortly. The Eververse Trading Company has had its makeover for the Sparrow Racing League. We talked about a lot of the things involved there. They do have a lineup of 14 new emotes available. Did anybody pick up any of these emotes? Was anybody particularly excited to see, like, oh, there's this new one now? This is my new go-to?
I'm going to buy the clap. Wait a second, that sounds horrible. I'm going to buy the clap emote.
The
So
facepalm one is interesting to me.
the which one?
The facepalm. I'd love to see how many people pick that one up.
I would be
I saw
interested.
that, and I was the most excited about it, but I wish it was a more forceful facepalm. Like, it's more of just kind of put his hand up to his face and shake his head. Like when I facepalm. Like, it leaves a mark if it's, really, really dumb.
Right. When I think about facepalm, I think that he should have smacked himself on his forehead so that his head and his hand bounced off each other. Like that would have made it more, a little bit more better. I hate saying
You
more
just
better.
like fall over, like hit yourself so hard.
That would be awesome. Atomic facepalm. That's what they should have done, and that's what they should have named it.
Or you could just hope that you get it in the Nightfall.
Oh, you get emotes in the Nightfall?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's very cool.
Tier 1 emotes, I believe, though, only.
That's cool. So the day before the update, I went in and I still was sitting on 200 silver, and I kept looking through all the different ones. Like, I know that I'm going to be mad at myself if I don't buy an additional one, because the only one that I bought on either system was the formal bow. And because I can't use more than one, I didn't want to buy these other ones. I'm basically just throwing money away. Like, I don't feel like that was a good use of money.
I said that earlier this week, that I would be much more interested in purchasing more emotes if I could, A, change every one of my directional pad buttons to be whatever emote I wanted, and or B, they make like the right directional pad be a pinwheel, like anytime I'm in a public space for emotes or whatever.
They were asked this at PSX, and it sounded like they are contemplating doing it.
Yeah, they're talking that they're rethinking how the emotes are going to work in game all around, and I think that that's what that is alluding to. I think that a pinwheel like that would be awesome.
Now, something else that I think they may have alluded to, and this might be Spin Metal Hat, but I just remembered it. This was at the end of the section where they talked about where Irk was talking, where we were talking about Irk breaking down his tweet earlier, and at the very end, after Irk breaks that down, Deej actually says Thanks, Irk. You look great today, by the way. I'm particularly fond of the facial hair for some reason. So is this Beards Coming to Destiny Half-Life 3 convert?
No, it's because Deej has a beard now.
You know what, though? I appreciate your spin metal hat, and now that you said that, I'm on the same page, Agrios.
I totally thought that. I'm like, are we gonna get a barbershop soon to redo your
Well,
character?
people have
Let
been
you-
asking to remake their characters that they just hate the hairstyle they picked way back in,
You guys are spinning it so far. If Deej hadn't had a beard, I would maybe go with you down this, but Deej has a beard now. Come on, get
Yeah.
real, guys.
Okay, so if it turns out that that's correct, if it turns out that Deej grew his beard because they're planning to announce this, that would be awesome.
That's just you're just supplying more spin metal hat reasons, Sharks. That's why Deej grew his beard.
Good job,
Whatever,
Sharks.
whatever.
All right, 10 minutes. Well, actually, 5 minutes, and then shout outs. Let's go.
Okay, well, be quick. There is a big change to the Titans. Somebody's not happy about that change.
Sunbreaker
that was my daughter who K-Dub said is a Titan, so that's how she feels about him, I guess.
She sounds right from here.
So, I mean, nobody's played in PvP or shot any bullets. So, I mean, I once again, I don't have anything to say about the changes yet. They seem on paper to be, headed in the right way. Anybody any experience with that yet?
No, but if you go off of what K-Dub said in his tweet, he said no change at all. That's what he said.
All right.
I thought he was talking about the weapon situation. I didn't realize he was talking about the Titan situation.
No, he said he didn't notice any difference at all for anything.
As a Titan or against Titans?
I don't know. I'm reading into stuff now. I don't know.
Continuing.
Well, one big change to the Defender Titan now is when they pop their Word of Dawn, they get recharged grenade and melee abilities when they cast that super. So that's a pretty decent little boost there.
Ward of Dar. Continuing.
We talked about the weapon changes. They all feel very, very similar. They made a couple of minor changes to several of the exotics. Dragon Breath now bounces off walls and leaves napalm. And
it sounds like a dragon, too, if you stand in it. I think they did that so that people will stand in it and die while they're listening to it.
I'm in.
They made a number of changes to a variety of other exotics that I look forward to trying out. A combination of buffs and minor nerfs. Mostly, in most cases, for the benefit of the weapon, though in not all of the cases. And we talked about most of the major points from the update. That's pretty much all the major changes that came in that. They wrapped up the weekly update this week with the movie the week section, like always. Some interesting videos to check out there. I encourage everyone to always go check out those. I love the community interaction.
Excellent. I agree. I'm glad that they do that every week. Like there's enough content being made that they're able to do this. I think it's awesome.
This week's theme, more or less, was kind of impressive, heroic attempts. The first one being a really good Crucible battle. The second one being a never give up Rambo takedown of Golgoroth, and the last one being was the last one was the last one a Nova Bomb? I forget what the last one was now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, the last one was a Titan launching his hammers straight up in the air and taking out people farther away from. I thought it was Nova Bomb because there's actually a Nova Bomb on Reddit that was very similar. He took out like the entire team at the opposite heavy ammo on the other side of the arena with his Nova Bomb launched straight up in the air. Very similar to how this Titan works. So I encourage everybody to go over to Reddit and check that out as well.
Excellent.
So that's it for the weekly update. Lots of other stuff out there we could talk about, but not anything I can fit in the last couple minutes. Cocoon now gives a small sound effect when it procs, which is pretty handy. All those raid weapons that reload when you have them unequipped, you'll know when they're reloaded from the sound they make now.
Oh, you know what? I did notice that reactive reload, the gun has like a shimmer to it and it makes a sound in addition to having this little timer countdown in the lower corner of how long that is available. That is really cool.
There's been new dead ghosts found in the game. With the past update, there were new grimoire cards that became available, and using clues based off them, Guardians have already managed to find some of the dead ghosts. Now, based on their placement, it seems like they may be available in an altered version of a mission or something, because it seems like some of the terrain needs to not be there for some of these ghost locations to like be appropriately found. Because as of now, you kind of clip into weird areas, not using any sort of real glitching or anything. They're just would be normally found that way. So it implies that we're going to get some new content on the moon, taking us back through some old areas that we've been in already. Some of the grimoire mentions like interesting characters that we don't know much about. So that's at least something on the horizon for us to look forward to.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent. And just like that, we're out of time. Shout outs, starting with Sharks.
I want to thank everybody that puts money into Eververse so that we get good content. Thanks, guys.
Agrios.
I want to shout out to River, because we haven't in a little while. I had the pleasure of taking on King's Fall with him earlier this week. It was the first time we got to play together. In case you don't know, River has been an Xboxer for a long time and recently picked up his PS4, so he's just actually becoming of level to be able to do such things in the Taken King on the PS4. So shout out to him for running with him, and hopefully he can rejoin us again soon.
Very cool. Jez.
Shout out to Holiday for keeping my sparrow on the ground. I don't know.
I like it. I like it a lot. Crimson.
My shout outs to the Bungie Live team and the dev team for listening to us and giving us something that we all wanted. Hopefully it'll be what everyone wants in the future with more iterations. Thanks, guys.
My shout out is to whoever decision it was to go forward with Sparrow Racing. Like to me, to the consumer, it is a no-brainer. And in my opinion, Sparrow Racing League represents Bungie's first focused step towards making Destiny the hobby that I always wanted it to be, and the hobby that they say they want it to be. And so whoever was in charge of that decision, whoever, even if it was a group of people, whoever it was that says, all right, fine, we will devote resources to making this happen. I want to thank those people because I'm really enjoying it. It feels fresh and new and fun, and it's I still love shooting things in Destiny, and I still go and do it, and I'm happy to do it. But as this whole other thing, it's really fun and it's really amazing. Tanner, who's been on the show a couple of times, says that they could have just made an entire game out of it. Like they should have just made an entire game out of it because he enjoys it on that level. But yeah, shout out to them. Whoever decision it was, whoever decided we're going to do this, that person deserves a handshake or a pat on the back. And that wraps up episode 69. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.